House of Ramirez does not do sports, politics, or religion. However, understanding that the city elections are this year and how impactful and important it is for all of us Atlantans, I have decided to open my platform to politics, to give a fair shot to each running candidate to tell their story. This conversation needed to happen, and we are having the conversation for the love of community.
Hey guys, this is House of Ramirez. You already know what's up. We out here in the high streets of Atlanta. We're representing big with entrepreneurs, business owners, and now candidates that are running for political seats here in Atlanta. So many of you guys know I don't do politics and I don't do religion, but I must say I had to open my platform to give a fair chance to the candidates that are running right now to tell their story. So without wasting any more time, I'm gonna go ahead and bring on Doug. Doug, can you please tell us who you are and where you are from?
Sure. My name is Doug Williams. I'm a candidate for the Atlanta City Council District 5 seat. I live in the Eastlake community where I've been since 2002. I came to Atlanta in 1997 to help my wife get through graduate school. She came here to go to Emory University for PT. And I'm originally from Indianapolis, Indiana. I was born and raised on the South Side in a working class community, attended Magnolia High School, attended the University of Indianapolis, where I met Amy. She's been my sweetheart for 29 years now. We have a wonderful little guy named Carter. I've been his basketball coach, and I'm largely known as a community organizer and usual suspect for good trouble here in the Eastlake and the East Side. I've been a neighborhood president, MPU officer. Amy and I ran a farmer's market, renovated a community park, and I served on the board of the local animal shelter.
Wow. So you pretty much running things for a long time now. So I want to give you your props. I always give props to people when it's due. And shout out to your family. You have an amazing family, and the fact that you support your wife and your wife supports you. And that's how it needs to be. It has to be an equal balance in life, and y'all got it down packed. So shout out to you both, and your son as well. I want to go ahead and ask you, I'm going to go ahead and pick your brain and ask you a few questions that will dive into a political topic. So I want to ask you, what do you consider to be the top 3 issues in your district? And can you please explain to the audience, for the audience that do not understand the seat that you're running for, what that entails? What is that seat?
Sure. The 5th district is mostly the east side of Atlanta. So to the north, you've got Lake Claire, then you've got Eastlake, Edgewood, Kirkwood, East Atlanta. Then you cross over into Fulton County, and you've got Reynoldstown, Cabbagetown, a little bit of North Ormwood Park, a little bit of the old 4th Ward, a little bit of Auburn Avenue. But about 2/3 of the district is Atlanta and DeKalb. We're the largest chunk of Atlanta in DeKalb County. And as such, some of our issues are a little different because for most of Atlanta, everything's Fulton County. We're not. So this district, 2/3 of our residents are living in DeKalb County. That means we have different issues as far as 911 goes. That means we have different issues when it comes to crime because we're coordinating with the DeKalb County prosecutor, not the Fulton County prosecutor. So if you're west of Moreland, you're dealing with Fulton County and Fannie Willis as the prosecutor. But if you're east of Moreland, you're dealing with Sherry Boston's office in DeKalb County. So the main issues that we've got in this area, I break down into safety, shelter, and services. When I refer to safety, I'm talking about law enforcement and the relationship of our law enforcement with the community. We've got to fix that relationship. Too many people in the community don't feel like they can trust law enforcement. Too many in law enforcement feel like that they don't have the support of the community or of City Hall, and that's not a good situation for anybody. It's something we need to fix because frankly, we have to have a functioning law enforcement department. Our laws are how we enforce order. And frankly, we all need to be able to trust the police are there for us, and they should have the support of the community. That's a relationship between humans, and it needs to be treated as such. As a neighborhood president, I put a lot of work into that. And I know that with work and attention, we can make it better. When I'm talking about shelter, I'm talking about affordable housing. And frankly put, most people cannot afford to live in the city of Atlanta within the 30% of budget that we say is affordable housing. So most Atlantans, more than 50% of us, are paying more for housing than 30% of our budget. So we need to fix that. We can be a city that everyone can afford to live in if we are thoughtful and intentional about a planning process that includes everyone. We should be able to allow legacy families to stay here. We should be able to allow seniors to age in place, but we have to put the work in to make sure that happens. Now, when I refer to services, I'm talking about people who've been left behind through the careless development we have in this city. Primarily, I'm talking about senior citizens, our young, and people dealing with disabilities. Our seniors are getting priced out with their property taxes always going up. The good news is your property is going up in value, and that's great if you want to sell, but not if you just want to live there, because then your bills are going up every month and your Social Security check or pension is not going up. So we need to be able to have programs in place for seniors to be able to age in place. We have a big problem with workforce development in this city. We have a lot of young people, people talk about the water boys, but part of the challenge is we don't have good job training programs for our kids. We need to engage our kids in this city, create volunteer opportunities and workforce training opportunities so that they can get into skilled trades. We put a lot of focus on college, and college is great for those who want to pursue it, but there's plenty of opportunities in the skilled trades, which also pay very well. There's plenty of opportunities in the movie industry, which is massively growing, and there's plenty of opportunities in hospitality. And we need to partner with the unions to provide job training programs for kids to participate in that. At the same time, when we're getting these kids involved, we can engage them in the community and helping to care for our seniors and helping to care for our parks. And when you engage people in caring for their community, they see it as their own, and it changes the dynamic. Finally, the last thing we have to do is be friendly for everybody and have a city that works for everybody, specifically the disabled. If you're someone going around with a walker or you're dealing with a wheelchair, we don't have workable sidewalks. And we think about that as a convenience, but it's a necessity for people to get out and be in the community. We need to have a workable transit program for people who are dealing with physical disabilities, but we also have to deal with mental disabilities. We don't do that as a city the way that we need to. Most of our mental health care is happening in our jails and prisons because we're too busy to care for the needs of our mentally disabled. And when you look at the challenge of homelessness, it's directly tied to mental disability for a good quarter of the population. About 75% are transitory homeless who are circumstantial homeless, and we can rehouse them and get them in good situations. And we're getting better about support for that. But when it comes to mental disabilities, we really do not take care of our own, and we can and should do better with that.
Well, I believe that you're driving great points here. And what I've been telling candidates is one of the points that actually moves along across the board through many seats and many districts is housing. It's something that affects everyone. It's a focus point that we all need to sit down and talk about seriously, and how to better it as well. That's just something that's needed. So I want to thank you for that. It's very true. The resources are there. We just need to connect the dots and bring our youth the resources, the tools that they need. And for our elders and also our many aged pedestrians here in local Atlanta, we need working sidewalks. We need to be able to get from one place to the other. Not everybody has cars. So yeah, just make it a better city than what it is. We're a great city, just focused on making it better. So thank you, Doug. I want to ask you, what makes you want to do this job? Now, a lot of people say, well, this motivates me or this motivates me. I just woke up this morning and I wanted to do something different. But what is your motivation to do what you're doing and also continuing the work in seat of candidate for District 5?
Sure. Simply put, the city council role provides the greatest opportunity to do the most good for the most people. I was raised by strong women. My grandmother and my mother really impressed on me that the measure of your life is to look at the world and say, is this a better place because you were here? And that was the standard that I've always looked at as, how do you earn the air you breathe? Not that anyone has to earn their space on this planet, but on a personal level, that's how my family, that's how I was raised, that we evaluate ourselves is the world better because you were here? My mom passed this year, and I put a lot of thought into that. when I was thinking about running for this office. And for most of the past 20 years, I've been working to bring people together in my community, partly to prove it could be done, partly to really organize what was a changing community into something much more tight knit. And it really, people ask me, who are you running against? I'm not running against any one person. There's other candidates because it's an open seat. But my opponent is and has always been cynicism. The idea that we can't make things work. I wrote an essay years ago called The Great Southern Boondoggle that basically says the greatest lie politicians have ever told is to try to convince us that government can't work. So we don't hold them accountable. And then they can do whatever they want for their cronies and nobody expects anything better. And look, here in Atlanta, in the cab, you can't blame people for being cynical. I've been here since '97. I've seen a mayor go to jail. I've seen a CEO go to jail. I've seen DeKalb County commissioners go to jail. I've seen city council members go to jail. But honestly, if you haven't killed your opponent, you're not the worst we've seen. So when people talk about cynicism, like, well, hell yeah, they're cynical. They have eyes to see and they have ears to see, to hear. And of course they're cynical about all this. And that's the biggest problem for Atlanta, is that people don't expect better because this is all we've seen. And it really challenges the basic principle of self-government, that this is what we make of it. And I really try to impress, and I've been doing this for years, that if things aren't working, it's on us to fix it. The city isn't other people, it's us. It's our system of self-government. It's what we make of it. It is we the people. And we hold on to this idea that we the people we are endowed by our creator and we are all equal. But the simple fact is we're not all equal, not in Atlanta. If you have money, you have the best government money can buy. But we've created a city that's not affordable for most of its people. And we have left behind the lower class, the impoverished. And now we're discovering that the same people who are happy to ignore the poor are happy to ignore the middle class too. We have changed the uniforms with representation so that we used to be a system of serving the white wealthy, but now we're a situation where no matter what your background, no matter your race, your religion, your gender, your sexuality, you too can take advantage of screwing over the poor. We are equal in our capacity for the wealthy to take advantage of the poor. We have changed the uniforms, but we haven't changed the game. So it's still a city that works for the few at the expense of the many. And it's getting to a level of extreme frustration that's driving a whole lot of problems. You can't deal with crime if you can't deal with inequity. And that's the challenge before us, is that we have a city that has an economy the size of Norway, but we also have a city that doesn't take care of its own people. And we have the greatest income inequality in the country. And it's creating desperate people who are making desperate choices as they're being displaced from their own communities. We can fix that. So we have this city that works for the few at the expense of the many. And maybe that is the Atlanta way, but it doesn't have to be. We can make better choices. This is what we make of it. And I want to work for the people to do what I've been doing, which is bringing people together for positive change to make this city work for us. I've done it at the neighborhood level. I now want to do it at the district level. I may not be able to change all of Atlanta, but I sure as hell can make District 5 get results from this city.
I know that's right. So, you've been putting work into your community and different organizations. So you walk the walk, and I appreciate that because I'm very big on show me the receipts, right? So, thank you for that. I want to ask you, what do you bring to this job that's unique to you? Now, you already went ahead and told us a little bit, but go ahead and throw it on us. What's unique about Doug Williams?
I've got experience at working with every level of government to bring about positive change for the people in this district. I'm not just making promissory notes of what I'm going to do for the people. I already have the goods delivered and the receipts to show for it. You can go to Eastlake Park right now and see the Zabin Center that I helped get renovated. You can see the playground that I helped build. You can go along Glenwood Drive and see that we eliminated the suicide lane. You can go down to Memorial to 4th and Cottage Grove and see the sidewalk improvements and the early work we did to make improvements to what became Imagine Memorial. You can go to 2nd Hosea and see that the community development plan that we wrote in 2010 and the revisioning of that whole intersection that we wrote in 2010 2008 is being built out today. You can't go to the East Lake Farmers Market anymore because it was a temporary thing we did, but go to the Elf Market on Facebook and you can see we took a corner known for drugs and prostitution and turned it into an oasis. We literally grew food to feed the low-income families of our community and took something that was a blight for the community and turn it into something that people brought their children for storytelling and fed their families with and brought everybody together. If you want to go and adopt a puppy, go up to the DeKalb Animal Shelter, because I was brought into that advisory board to get that thing built. And when the advisory board and the county commissioners were at loggerheads with each other, I was asked to come in by the founder of that group, as well as our DeKalb County Commissioner, to help find a solution, because I was the guy everybody trusted to get things done. That's who I am. That's who I've been. And I have the results to show for it. I have worked with the city. I've worked with the county. I've worked with the state. I have worked with the federal government. I have worked on federal grants on everything from the USDA to the Board of Health to the DOT. I have worked with private partners on almost everything that I've done. And I have the results to show for bringing people together to get things done for the community. And I've done more for the people of this district than all the other candidates in this race combined.
You know how I get down. House of Ramirez does not bash. So I'm not saying you were bashing, but I don't bash. We keep it very positive, but it's really not bashing if you're speaking facts. Am I correct? So
I think it was the baseball player, Dizzy Dean, that said it ain't bragging if you can do it.
I know that's right. So I want to go ahead and thank you for everything you've been doing throughout the course of years in the community. You know, I represent East Atlanta hard. And to know that you've been doing this for a while is a breath of fresh air. You know, we need to hear this. We need to know. We're paying attention now more than ever. This is determining our next few years. So thank you, Doug. Also, I want to ask you, why should we vote for you over the other candidates? Now, I think there's like 4 more other candidates running for this seat. Why should we vote for you over the other candidates?
Nothing to say bad against the other candidates. I think they're solidly good people. But the difference between me and everybody else is I'm not just offering promissory notes. I'm offering results and receipts for what I have done. I've worked at the neighborhood level as a neighborhood president. I led the efforts to renovate our parks. When we talk about making parks improvements, I've got a track record to show for it. When you look at public safety and working and improving the relationship with law enforcement, I won awards for this from DeKalb County and the city of Atlanta. So I was the first community organizer to bring together Atlanta and DeKalb communities and unincorporated DeKalb communities to partner together on reducing crime. So we partnered with Zone 6 and the South DeKalb precinct, along with our DeKalb prosecutor, to focus on crime issues. You're going to hear me talk a lot about DeKalb because, hey, I live in DeKalb, as does 2/3 of this district. We have some different issues. Doesn't mean I won't help the people in Fulton. It's the same process, partnering with law enforcement. But I've done this work. I'm not new to this. I've been doing this. When we talk about improving our roadways and our infrastructure, this is not new to me. When I've talked to our folks in East Atlanta who are trying to make improvements along Moreland, they're looking at a living community initiative. I've already done that work. And in fact, I have already reached out to the people working with the Atlanta Regional Commission, put them in touch with that team and said, by the way, we're not ready for an LCI yet. You actually want to look at a scope of work grant so you can look at the study that's already been done and make sure that your pedestrian improvements and your infrastructure goals that you're trying to set out are in coordination with what Atlanta DOT and Georgia DOT are doing. I've done this. I'm familiar with this. This isn't new to me. So along the way, everything I have done has been with the intention of bringing in as many people as possible to the process. So it's not just 2 or 3 people working on it at the neighborhood level or a dozen people working at the NPU level, but getting as many people as possible engaged and participating in the growth plans for our community. Because when you do that and you create a community of people who give a damn, then they really are much more engaged and you have a much more tight-knit community. When someone plants a bush in a park, every time they walk past that bush, they're like, hey, that's my bush. This is my park. This is my community. And in an environment where everything is changing, we always have the opportunity to reset those relationships and engage people and build community in a way that other parts of the city just don't have. If you go in a lot of areas, you have everything kind of entrenched and almost set in stone. We're not like that. This is largely new neighbors who are just have this incredible energy waiting to be engaged. And I have had a lot of success of basically catching lightning and harnessing that energy to bring people together. I worked at the NPU level to write out the CDP back in 2010. I want to use that process of setting plans as a community of our walking plan and our roadways and our infrastructure improvement to plug in everybody across the district. So Eastlake and Edgewood and Kirkwood were working together on the NPU plan a decade ago. Well, there's no reason that we can't plug in those walking plans to cross over Moreland and plug into Reynoldstown and Cabbagetown. And the Eastlake walking plan and the Kirkwood walking plan need to plug into the East Atlanta plan, which plugs into Ormwood Park. That typically isn't done that way, but that's one of the things that this role can do. When we start talking about 501c3s, I founded a 501c3. I've gotten federal grants, I've gotten state grants, and I have done the not-for-profit work to help the not-for-profits in our community get things done. Because one of the things that if you're going to do this job really well, you're bringing together all the pieces. Because what's really different about the city council role than say that at the district level, as opposed to say the at-large role or the mayor, they have to be concerned about everybody in the city. I don't. I'm here for the people of District 5. I'm here for East Atlanta to make sure we get the services we need and the support we need. And you know what? Buckhead can take care of themselves. I'm here to care for our people. That's one of the things that really is unique about this position is you get to be that advocate. You get to be that central resource, that representative, not just at the legislative level for city council, but you're the representative for the community who can make sure the city works for you, the county works for you, the state, the federal government resources are brought together, and that you're partnering with private groups to take advantage of all the resources necessary. Because often you'll find that what Reynoldstown is working on now, maybe what Eastlake was working on 15 years ago, or East Atlanta was working on 5 years ago. And they may be looking at a grant opportunity, they got to spend 50 grand that they don't have. It's like, hey, do you know there's a bridge loan with the Atlanta Foundation? And making people realize all the resources that are out there and bringing them to bear to support the community. That's the exciting stuff about this role, is that you really get to represent and you really get to be central to making things happen like almost no other level of government lets you do. So the best part of this job is you get to bring people together to make positive change. And that's always been the most fun part of the work. That's what has given me energy. That is what has given me joy, is that you get to be the thing that brings everybody else together to the table. I learned a long time ago that one of the things that I was good at was not that I'm the person who knows everything. Instead, I'm the person comfortable in bringing people together to make things happen. And one time I was in a board meeting with the Elf Market, Eastlake Farmers Market Board. And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of used sometimes to not being the person who knows everything. And but I'm okay with that. And they said, well, that's not what's attractive. What's attractive is that you bring everybody else here. We're all here because of you. We know you get things done. We know that if we put our time in with you, it's not going to be wasted. And that's what I want to say to everybody is that if you invest your vote in me, I won't let you down. We will get good things done together because I know how to do this. We've been doing this, and I know we can do more together if we come together and work for it.
I love it. It's a partnership, and I'm all about partnerships. When I see you doing big things, we got to partner up together. It's a must. So it goes hand in hand with voting, the community knowing what you're doing, trusting in you, voting, and you delivering the services to solve the problems in the communities for District 5. So I totally get it. I love that. I want to ask you, can you please give us a House of Ramirez shout out? Now, for many of you guys that know me, I do big on shout outs. I think it's very important to shout people out that's been holding you down. So I want to go ahead and give you my platform so you could go ahead and spotlight people, a short list of people in your life, in your personal life, in your career life that's been holding you down. And also hit us with your social media so we could go ahead and follow and support you, Doug.
All right. So first things first, our social media is doug4atl5.com. Doug number 4 atl5.com. From there, you can find all our other social media links for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the rest. I've got an amazing team of people supporting me. As far as who I got to thank, first and foremost, my wife. I married up. To anyone who knows me knows that I am married to an absolutely amazing woman. She's beautiful, she's kind, she's intelligent. I'm a better man because I'm with her. And I have spent the past 29 years trying to be worthy of the love of such an amazing human. And with her help, we're raising an amazing little guy. My son Carter is the delight of my life, along with Amy. And he has been, you know, this cannot be fun for a 10-year-old going and doing these lemonade stand pop-ups with me and going to events and being, you know, having to be polite and on point, but he does it. He's an amazing kid and I am proud of him every single day. I've got an amazing team of volunteers supporting this organization. We made an intentional choice that we were not going to try and be the group that out fundraised everybody and try to buy a political seat. And we don't have to spend a lot of money to be effective. And we did not want to try and just buy a seat. I believe that results matter more than money. And I want to prove it by running a campaign that isn't based on outspending everybody, but by outworking everybody. With that, I've got an amazing team of volunteers supporting me. Above all, I do got to give a shout out to Lawana Kelly Thornton. She has been my right-hand person since I first started doing community work in 2004. She was my community vice president, and time and time again, she has helped me hold it down. But really, all the community members who've been supporting me in this campaign, there are people who have known me who've been trying to talk me to run for office for 17 years, who are speaking for me now and helping out with this. And also, I got to say, the voters who I am counting on supporting me this fall. If you aren't familiar with me, take a look at our website, take a look at our social media. You'll find I am the same person that I've always been. We haven't changed anything. You can find me saying what I've said 5 years ago, saying what I'm saying now 10 years ago. I believe in what I believe, and I am running to be your representative. You can trust that what you see is what you get. I'm not polished, I'm not pretty, but I will work my ass off for you. So please, I hope to earn your vote this support. Thank you for your time to listen to this, and be well.
Well, Doug, I appreciate you. You know, everybody that's listening, tuning in, please go ahead, go to his website. You can find all his shebang on there, whatever floats your boat. Go ahead, like, comment, and share. I most definitely got to shout out your family. Family is everything. You know, it starts with the way we're raised. So shout out to your parents, then your beautiful and sweet wife, your kind child, and then your whole team. You know, you got it going on over there, and you know, let's see what District 5 rolls out. I feel very confident in everyone. I'm very thankful for all the community work that you have done for this city. This is the first time that you're on my show. It's not the last time. So when you get something new coming in, you go ahead, hit me up. We'll bring you back on, Doug. I appreciate you for making time and talking to me. And until next time.
Thank you. Be well.
Make sure to follow House of Ramirez on all social media platforms.